position did Jim Thorpe play? I've seen that.
I started with, I don't even know, to be honest with you. I think it was running back. And then he was the punter. A lot of the sports guys, they like that, you know.
Yeah.
I forgot to tell him, President Richard Nixon declared April, I think it was 16th.
Good afternoon. How's everybody? Good? Good? Okay, well, we want you to leave here better. On behalf of the Cultural Awareness Committee here at Gordon Cooper, we want to welcome you here. And today, we are being featured by the Sac and Fox Tribe of Oklahoma with some special goodies for you today. We have a historian here, we have dancers, singer, and we're just going to enjoy it. This is something new for Gordon Cooper, and we want everyone on this campus to become culturally aware of everyone else. How about it? Yeah, I'm that impromptu person, so you never know what you're going to get coming from me. But anyway, we're glad that you're here with us today to celebrate. This is a celebration. We want to have fun. We want to gain some knowledge of the Sac and Fox tribe. And we want you all to leave here with more knowledge than you came in here with. How about that? So we have Mr. Hamilton, who is just phenomenal. I just met him today, but he's wonderful. Let me tell you, he's not short of speech, okay? With a lot of knowledge, power-packed with knowledge of his tribe and other tribes, all of American history. I'm sure he can give you a whole lot more than what he gave us. But we're just glad that they're here today, and we're going to bring him up and let him go for it. And at the end, guess what? You get to join in. Don't get nervous. Don't get scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. You get to join in. Mr. Hamilton, would you come on?
Oh, Minwikisheki. That's how we say good day in our Sac and Fox language. Before we get into our dance portion of our program here, I want to say thank you to the Gordon Cooper staff for the invitation to come over here and share some of our dances and our history. For some of you that may not know, on August 3rd, 1990, President George H.W. Bush declared the month of November Native American Heritage Month, which allows us as Native Americans to share some of our heritage by performing some of our dances, sharing our history, sharing some of our songs, and things like that. So it allows us to come out and meet new people and talk about us as Native people. As Native people, we are very rich in our culture. We live in two worlds. Not only do we go to college and get a career and have a family and buy a home and buy a vehicle, but on weekends we attend our dances, we attend our ceremonies, and we are culturally connected to this Mother Earth and all of our relatives. And so we're here to share some of that with you today, some of our dances. And but yeah, as Shemaine mentioned, my name is Joaquin Hamilton. I am the ambassador of the Sac and Fox Nation, also a historian. And so just like she said, I can talk all day long about general Native history, our tribal history, and other tribes. But just to share some of the history with you at this time before we get into our dances, at one time our Sac and Fox Nation was two different tribes. We were the Saukee and the Meskwaki, and we originally come from the St. Lawrence River area west of Montreal, Quebec. And so right around 1632, when the French and the British were fighting over Montreal, our Sauk and Meskwaki people took off south into Rhode Island and Massachusetts area. And then later on, we migrated westward into Michigan. And so we were in Michigan for a little while, and the Ojibwe tribe, we were always at battle with them. So they kicked us out of town, and we moved to a little island called Mackinac Island north of Michigan. And so in those days, there was always a lot of conflict with all of these different tribal nations. Some are allied with other countries, and some are not. But it was really difficult for a lot of our Native American tribes because we were stuck in the middle of all these big imperial wars and these battles between these different countries coming to the United States looking for land. We had the French and the British coming from the north. The Americans were coming from the east. Spain was coming from the south. And so there was a lot of conflict. It was hard. And so our people, our two tribes, the Sauk and the Meskwaki, officially allied in 1735. And we headed southward down the Mississippi from Wisconsin area. And we ended up in present-day Rock Island, Illinois, which is about 3 hours west of Chicago. And in those days, we had one of the largest villages in the country, and we called it Saukenuk. And our relatives, the Meskwaki, we always kind of coincided with one another. If the Sauks lived on the east side, they lived on the west side. If they were on the north, we were on the south. But our language is so similar that we can understand each other. It's just a different dialect. In the United States of America, we have approximately 575 tribes. And we all speak different languages. We have different customs, different tribal clothing. But one thing folks don't know is that our tribal governments have a nation-to-nation relationship with the United States government. So a lot of times when we're trying to negotiate certain things, we don't have to go through the state. We go straight to the big house. So that's why we have a tribal government. And so after Andrew Jackson signed the Indian Removal Act in February 1830, it would kickstart the Trail of Tears when the Cherokee, the Choctaw, Chickasaw, Seminole, and Creek were relocated into Indian Territory from the East Coast. And when that happened, a lot of our tribes were moved to this area from the Great Lakes area. Some of our plains tribes were moved here from Wyoming and Colorado. But they kept coming, and the U.S. government kept sending us to Indian Territory, which would later become the state of Oklahoma. And it was in hopes that we wouldn't survive on the lands here. And some of you ranchers and farmers, or most of you know that there's a lot of clay in this area. So it was really difficult for us to plant our gardens, to have a good area for our livestock. So we, as Native people, we had to adapt to the new environment, and it was difficult for us. And in our travels, there was a lot of death. They had U.S. agents that would move us from place to place, but we all ended up here. And so today, there's 39 tribes right here in this one state, and all but like one are from other places. So a lot of our tribes come from the Great Lakes and other places. But you may not know this because of in the Oklahoma State school districts, they don't teach the real raw, uncut history of Native American Indian tribes. And so I feel very fortunate to be here through our education department. I work alongside Edwina to come and help educate. In our tribal jurisdiction, we have 12 public schools. And a lot of the principals and the superintendents and even some of the teachers, they don't realize that they're living on original Sac and Fox lands that were assigned to us back in 1867. So we were living in Illinois for 100 years, from 1735 up to the Black Hawk War. We have two famous people in our tribe, our war leader Black Hawk, Makatamishi Kiakak, and Jim Thorpe. How many of y'all know who Jim Thorpe is? You know, he was our famous athlete from the Sac and Fox Nation. So Black Hawk, he led a campaign for his people, which kickstarted the Black Hawk War of 1832. The Americans kept coming, and the treaties kept coming. So a treaty is an agreement that we have with the United States government, like a contract. We have a certain time to get out of town. We have a certain place to go, and they kept throwing us with these treaties. They kept throwing our chiefs these treaties, and a lot of times our chiefs didn't understand what was going on because they didn't speak English. So in some of these treaties, they would put an X. And so through a series of 22 treaties, we end up down here in Indian Territory, and we've been here since 1869. So from Illinois, we moved to Iowa, and then after we signed the 1842 treaty, we were moved into Kansas, and then some of our people went back to Iowa, but then the ones that stayed in Kansas, our chief Moses Keokuk signed the Treaty of 1867, which would move us down here to Indian Territory. And in that treaty, the United States government promised our Sac and Fox people this piece of land that we live on right now in this area. So our Sac and Fox jurisdiction is from the Cimarron River up there north of Cushing, Oklahoma, and it runs all the way down here south of Shawnee, down here to the North Canadian River, and then about a mile west of Chandler, Oklahoma, and about a mile east of Stroud, Oklahoma. So that whole 480,000 acres of land was promised to our Sac and Fox people in 1867. So 2 years later, the United States government hired all these agents to move our people to this area. And we had a lot of people that died on the way. But we're here. We still practice our ceremonies, our traditions, our dances, and we have a powwow every second weekend in July over in Stroud, Oklahoma at our tribal headquarters, and you guys are all invited. So put it on your calendar. We'll see you at our powwow. But like I made mention, all of our tribes, we're all native, but we're different. We all have black hair and brown skin, but we may speak different languages. Sometimes our people, we come from an Algonquian language family, so we can understand the Meskwakis. We can understand some of the Potawatomi stuff. We can understand Iowa language. We can understand the Cree language from Canada. And so because we have that Algonquian language family, then a lot of similarities, we understand it. And so we have two, like I made mention, we have two famous people. Black Hawk, our war leader, who the Chicago Blackhawks hockey team was named after up in Chicago. Some of you may have family members that served in the Army. The UH-60 helicopter was named after our war leader back in around 1977. Some of you may have heard of the Black Hawk helicopter. That was also named after our war leader. So back in the 70s, there was a military digest book that was sent out to all of these folks across the country to name this chopper. And so the top three names was the Shoshone, the Tecumseh, and Black Hawk. And Black Hawk won. So today that chopper is called the Black Hawk helicopter. And so we actually got a decommissioned helicopter from the United States Army, and it sits on our reservation over there in Stroud, Oklahoma. And you'll see it if you're driving up Highway 99. And so today, we have all these tribes in Oklahoma. A lot of them are from the Great Lakes, some East Coast, some from the Northern Plains. But we all live here. A lot of our tribes have dances, ceremonies. We're still active. And our particular government, we have 5 elected officials that run our tribe, and every tribe is different. So we have a principal chief, a second chief, a treasurer, a secretary, and a committee member. And so they're the ones that run our tribe, but the people are the supreme law. So we work together to move forward. And so that's a little bit about the history of our tribe, the Sauk and the Meskwaki. But you see today, when you go to Walmart, you'll see the Sac and Fox Nation license plates. The United States government, on paper, wrote Sac and Fox Nation. but it's actually the Sauk and the Meskwaki. That's our old names from the old days. But they misspelled Sauk and they spelled Sac, S-A-C. And then the Meskwakis were referred to as the Raynards from the French, which is the fox. So that's where that comes from. So we have three bands of the Sac and Fox people. We have the Meskwakis in Iowa. We have the Nemahas in Kansas. And then down here, we call ourselves Taki people. Like we're a proud Sauk. So that's who we are here in Oklahoma. And so how many, some of you all heard of Jim Thorpe, right? He was our famous athlete. So in 1912, he was recommended by his coach, Pop Warner, to go to the Olympics in Stockholm, Sweden. And so some of y'all may saw the picture where he has unmatched shoes on. When he got to Sweden, someone stole his shoes. He was so athletic that somebody was trying to put a little damper on him and kind of ruined his game. And so anyways, he ends up winning the decathlon and the pentathlon. But keep in mind, that was 12 years before Native Americans even became citizens of the United States government. So we weren't even considered a citizen at that time. But he went over there to represent the U.S. in the Olympics. But he had his medal stripped because he played minor league baseball in North Carolina. He passed away in 1953. 30 years later, in 83, the replica medals were reinstated to his family. And so that was a little bit about our athlete, Jim Thorpe. And today on our tribal flag, we have the rings that honor him and what he did in the Olympics. But so that's a little bit about our two famous people in our tribe. And so with that being said, we're here to share some of our dances. We're still active in our ceremonies. We're still active in our dances. So today, we're very fortunate to have our royalty with us. So at this time, I'd like to call up our princesses, and they represent our tribe. They represent their families all over Indian country. And so how about a round of applause for all our royalty here? So serving as our Miss Sac and Fox Nation, give it up for Brianna Butler right here. And serving as our junior Miss Sac and Fox Nation, Anessa Hammond. And serving as our little Miss Sac and Fox Nation, Malia Warrior. And I tell you what, it's so awesome to see these young ladies at these big gatherings. Sometimes our powwows, the audience, sometimes they're 20,000 people, sometimes they're 15,000. But have anybody in here been to a powwow before? Oh yeah, there's quite a few actually. Well, if you haven't, YouTube is pretty popular, you know. I have a good friend in Pawnee. He's got a page called Lone Teepee Productions. He goes to these powwows every weekend, and he records for those individuals that can't make it. A lot of our elders and our handicapped people that can't make it to the powwow, he started this so they can watch it from their living room. But if you ever go to YouTube, type in Grand Entry Sac and Fox Powwow, and you'll get to see some of the dancing that we do. It's pretty awesome. And so before we get started here with our first dance, I wanted to make mention on how important it is to have a singer and a drum. So we, as Native people, have a lot of respect for these drums that we use. We use them in all of our dances, all of our ceremonies. And there's a spirit in that drum that we respect. At one time, it was a buffalo, the hide that we cover this hollowed out tree trunk with. The tree itself was living at one time. The whatever animal we used to cover it, whether it was a buffalo or a cow or an elk, that was a living thing at one time. So we have a lot of respect for these grandpa drums, is what we call it, because they're our grandfathers. And so when he sings, it represents the heartbeat of our people. When you hear that drumstick hits that drum. And so that's what keeps us all connected. And to have a singer, we're very fortunate. There's a lot of songs that we have. There's prayer songs, there's veteran songs, Mother's Day songs, powwow songs, 49 songs. And so it's a big responsibility for our singers to remember all these songs. So we're very fortunate to have Mr. Arlen Goodfox. Let him hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. He's one of our famous singers, and he's top notch. And so with that being said, I just wanted to share with you all about the drum and our singers first before we get into this first exhibition. But these ladies here, they represent our tribe all over the country. You can see the regalia that they're wearing. We call it regalia. We don't call it costume. We don't wear these for Halloween. This is what we wear at our traditional gatherings, our ceremonies. So we don't call them costumes. They're our outfits or our regalia. But they're made with prayer. They're made with protocol. And you can see some of the designs that are on their skirts. It was told to me that when our elders, the elder women would go in the forest and they would see these leaves or they would see these berries or these stems or whatever you see in the forest, that's how they would come up with these designs on their skirts, their sewing, or even their beadwork. And so that's a little bit about that. But these ladies here, they're going to dance our applique style, also referred to as the scrub style. And so we're going to turn it over to our singer at this time. Here we go. All right, awesome. Thank you, thank you. You know, we were talking about powwows earlier. In this day and time, it's similar to a rodeo circuit. So a lot of our dancers and singers, they'll pick and choose which event they want to attend. Sometimes there's more than one event going on the same weekend. We might have two in Oklahoma. There might be one in Florida, one in Washington, and one in South Dakota on the same weekend. And so it's a circuit. And we used to only be able to dance in the summertime, but now a lot of the different tribes, they're sponsoring their own events. So sometimes we travel out of state to go dance or to go sing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'd like to introduce our jingle dress dancer. How about a round of applause for Rayleigh Primo? In the powwow world, there's about 6 men styles. There's about 6 or 7 women styles of dance. And they all have a creation story. They all come from different parts of the country. And so this particular dress here is referred to as the jingle dress or the medicine dress. And it was told to me by one of my good friends up in the Mille Lacs Band Ojibwe tribe in Minnesota that there was a story about this young lady that was sick. And the father had a dream about these ladies coming to bless their daughter in a dress, a prayer dress. And there was 4 of them. And so as things evolved, they started this, and that little girl, she got well and she got better, and so today they still dance this style of dress, the jingle dress. So we're gonna turn it over to our singers at this, or our singer at this time for women's jingle. All right. All right, she did a wonderful job there. You know, we had some young men on the roster, but they ended up going hunting today. So our warriors are out there getting us some back straps for later. We come to the part in our program where we want to invite you all to dance. Maybe our dancers here can go get 2 or 3 individuals to come dance with us. Some of our people refer to it as the round dance. Some refer to it as the friendship dance, but it's a real easy step, and so we want to invite our dancers here to go pick a couple of individuals, couple students to come dance with us, or maybe some of our teachers might want to come dance with us.
Come and get extra points.
Yeah. And you never know, you might get extra points from your teacher. Yeah, bring the little kids down. All right. Is that the early childhood crew? All right. Yeah, don't be shy. Come on, it's just for fun. It's for fun. Don't be shy. Come on down. We're going to swing and sway the Gordon Cooper way. Hey. All right. So come on out, make a big circle. Yeah, we'll start right here. And earlier I forgot to make mention there's a slow pace and then there's a fast pace. So if you want to try out the slow line, you can. If you want to try out the little faster line, then you can come get behind Angela. Hey, I'm just kidding. But we're going to go ahead and get started here. Maybe the young kiddos, are they going to have their own? Yeah, they can come get in this line. Yeah. Maybe we'll all go slow so we don't run over the little ones. They might become little speed bumps. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, we're going to turn it over to Arlen at this time for a round dance. right, thank you. You may be seated. And you know what? If you found yourself tapping your toe or bobbing your head, that's the spirit I'm talking about right there. Sometimes it comes and it goes. But us as Native people, powwow people, we have our favorite songs. You know, when you're cruising down the road and your favorite song comes on, and that's how we are with powwow music. So we know there's a lot of drum groups out there that have their own style of singing. And sometimes we listen to powwow music when we're driving. So, but on behalf of our tribe and
Just give me a second here.
all right, Brother Arlen's going to say a few words.
Ladies and gentlemen here, let's all give a round of applause to our little ones up there. That's awesome to see. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something right now. My brother here knows, all of our Indian people know, our little ones have been dancing since they were that young. You know, I'm going to tell you that my grandchildren, my children, since they could walk, when we first picked them up, they took their first steps on this earth. They also were in that arena dancing with us. And that's how we go along all through our lives. I got elders, I got my grandpas that are still with us this day, still sitting at this drum. So I just wanted to say, good job, little ones, you guys really did that.
Yeah, sometimes it gets like that when we see these young people, you know, get involved, and we always try our best to encourage them, and that spirit right there, that's exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so with that, you know, that'll conclude our presentation, and we want to say thank you to each and every one of you, and we hope that you take something good back with you. Maybe you might have heard something you haven't heard. Maybe you can share it with family later on. So thank you.
Come on, we can do better than that. Let's give Sac and Fox a big hand. Woo! Yes. Yes. We've had an enjoyable day with the Sac and Fox Nation today, and I just want to say, Miss Edwina, I always call you Miss Edwina. Thank you so much for getting them here. She worked tirelessly getting them here with T, as we call her up there, who is part of our Cultural Awareness Committee. All of those that are part of that committee, would you please raise your hand, stand, or...
Big round of applause.
Woo! Thank you all so much. And we'll be doing some more exciting things. Didn't you all enjoy this? Better than sitting in class, huh? No, anyway. I hope you learned something, and thank you, Royalty. Thank you, ladies, for coming. We enjoyed you so much. We're proud of you. We're proud of you for representing our state. Thank you so much. And without further ado, and thank you for those few words about our little people. That was a new twist for us this afternoon. We didn't have them this morning, so we got some icing on the cake this afternoon. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your drumming. Thank you for all of your knowledge. We appreciate it so much. And thank you all for attending. You are released.